JT Show.
What's going on, you sexy beasts, and welcome to another episode of the Smash JT Show, my weekly episodic adventure discussing divisive issues in the video game industry and beyond sometimes. It airs every Friday, 8 AM Pacific Time, 11 AM Eastern Time, and do me a favor, smash that like button, and if you haven't already, hit the subscribe. And without further ado, let's just jump right into it. The Nintendo Online service is a cluster. Well, that's what a lot of fans think, at least. Recently, they actually posted a video discussing new games coming to the online service for the next month. And it got met with a wall of dislikes. And while I don't really necessarily look at dislikes to likes ratio as a big deal, when it comes to a gigantic corporation making a video and posting it on YouTube and seeing just a gigantic difference between what people like about it and what they don't, it definitely speaks volumes to what public perception is on, in this case, the Nintendo Online service. From what I'm gathering, the vast majority of people don't like it. In fact, they don't even want games to play on the online service catalog. They'd rather the virtual console come back in full force. And there are tons of reasons for this. First off, it seems like Nintendo's making this whole thing to squeeze as much money as possible out of the end user. And yes, as we talk about many times before on this show, every company is in business to make money. At the end of the day, that's their end goal. And like the successful company that Nintendo is, everything else is secondary. The fun and enjoyment and happiness out of the gamers technically is secondary to how much money they can be making. And from that perspective, I can definitely see where they're coming from. But the evidence presented to us is clear as day. People overwhelmingly don't like this service. There's a lack of proper integrated voice chat still, no catalog of games to purchase from like the Virtual Console had, and now they're charging for online play, which provides very little upgrade to the free online service that was enjoyed by many Wii U owners. It almost feels like Nintendo is charging for the online service on the Nintendo Switch because it was a successfully selling console, and it was from the get-go. Makes you wonder if they would have done this with the Wii U if they saw the trend of the sales with the Wii U to be on track like they were with the Nintendo Switch. And since they weren't, they kept the online service free for the entire time of the Wii U because it wasn't selling enough to justify adding in something that would turn a lot of users off from the service. Some might say that's greed, others might say it's good business. It just depends really on what side of the fence you stand on. For me personally, I honestly don't like it that much. I don't really take advantage of the catalog of games. I'm not a big fan of the Netflix type game services that Xbox and Sony are providing, and now Nintendo is doing with the NES catalog of games. It's just not something that really excites me. I'd rather have the tangible physical game, and if I can't have it, I'd rather at least own the online version of it, knowing that no matter when I turn my system on, it will always be there. And having an online catalog of games means it can change. One month it will be there and the next month it won't be. So playing a game, adding some progress into it and getting far in, and then they remove the game from the service and you can't continue the progress, that really sucks. As a gamer, that shouldn't be happening. That was never the intention of these games when they were first created. Way back when the NES was made, they were made to be sold and owned by the end user, to be played and enjoyed whenever they wanted to. Now with technology coming in and digital downloads, these companies have the ability to shift in what games they want on the service and what they don't, and then you have licensing issues on what's allowed to even be on it and for how long a game is allowed to be there. It's just a big problem, and that's even something that might be going in with the N64 Classic and Goldeneye, and if they're able to do that as well, that's a whole nother topic for another day, but licensing issues are a big problem when it comes to digital downloads. Now, the controversy with Nintendo, and kind of the reason why I'm bringing this up to you, is they were caught deleting a video from their YouTube channel, and many people seem to think it's because it was getting so many dislikes right when they launched it that they almost wanted to put it back up after that mountain of dislikes came, that maybe re-releasing that same video after deleting the original, it might actually get a positive response because all the negative people already came and pounced on it and they wouldn't do that again. Well, they did it again. And some of the comments people were posting on their YouTube channel are absolutely hysterical. These fans are relentless. I gotta thank Super Metal Dave 64 on Twitter posting some of these. I was cracking up at the response from a lot of people telling us that, hey, we don't want this. We've told you we don't want this. And yet you continue to keep doing it. And in all honesty, as a consumer, the only way you can fight this is by not buying into the online service. It's not like a vote where you can say, don't do this, Nintendo, do this. No, Nintendo makes a decision and you have to vote with your wallet. And that really sucks, because if you want to play an online game, even if it has nothing to do with one certain aspect of the online service, you still have to buy into it, and Nintendo still gets your money at the end of the day. Now, yes, it's only $19.99 USD per year, but that still is more than nothing. And we all know that price will be going up. If it's anything like the PlayStation Online and Xbox Live services, those started at what, $30 or $40, and now they're up to $50 or $60, even more than that in some places. So yeah, there's a problem with Nintendo charging, raising the price from free to actually costing money, and now people knowing that down the line it's probably going to go up from that. This is just an introductory price, and I'm sure a year or two down the road it's going to be about $25 or $30. And Nintendo isn't doing enough to justify that, in my opinion, yet you kind of have to buy it anyways if you want to be able to play games online with your friends. So it's a double-edged sword. It really sucks for the gamer, because you're kind of cornered into buying this product that you don't necessarily want, because it has one tiny thing that you want to use from it, and you have to buy the entire thing because of that. But I'd love to hear what you guys have to say about this issue. Where do you stand on the Nintendo Online service? Are you on board with it? Do you like the Netflix style service where they rotate the games every month and add more in and have a vast selection for you to play at a set price point that's fairly low at the end of the day? Or would you have preferred them to go with the virtual console and actually let people buy games and keep them for the long term, and do away from this whole Netflix style of game services? It's very trendy to do games as a service these days. That buzzword is floating around all the boardrooms of all these conference calls with their shareholders. They want to do games as a service because they know at the end of the day, it's going to make them massive amounts of money compared to just being able to sell the game one time to one person. Being able to resell it over and over as each month goes by is a slow drip of their wallet, and I just don't like that. But anyways, let me know down in the comments below how you guys feel about that, and I'd be interested to hear. For this week's smashing video of the week, ironically, we're going to talk about Goldeneye yet again. Goldeneye 25 is a fan-made remake of the original Goldeneye for Nintendo 64, the single-player experience being recreated in the Unreal Engine 4. The video was uploaded by user Ben, and as of this filming, Ben has 185 subs, which is just crazy for this video that he's made, having over 75,000 views, and the dude has 185 subs, so that's crazy. I would definitely recommend checking this guy out. I'll put a link down in the description below. And the video itself is fascinating, especially for those of us who grew up playing Goldeneye, and to see it in the Unreal Engine area, it's magnificent. And that's where I'm going to end this week's episode. Again, I want to say thank you so much to all the generous Patreons out there who support the show on a monthly basis. I could not continue doing this without you guys, so thank you. If you're interested in joining them, hit that Patreon link that just showed up on the screen. And again, if you enjoy the content I'm making here and you haven't already, hit that subscribe button and the bell for notifications. And if you missed last week's episode, I'll put a link to it right there. That's all I got for you guys today. Thank you so much for watching, and as always, you stay sexy.